Look what I found, guys. Vintage pillowcases. Finally. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mandy, and this here's the Sunday vlog, where we just take a look at some of the highlights of the week. And, of course, one of the biggest highlights was my son finally getting at this chicken coop. So excited for that. So I took a little video of him working away. But I'm glad you've come and joined us today. I'm going to send you a virtual piece of cake and a virtual cup of tea as you come visit the homestead. There's our poor doggie. Look at her. She's going to have an operation next week. So that was a sad bit of news, but it is what it is, guys. And we'll just go as God wills. The highlight of the week, of course, was going antiquing with Holly. Went to an antique mall called One of a Kind Antique Mall. And we just loved roaming around the halls, having fun, chatting, looking at all the items of yesteryear. Made a few great purchases, had a great find. It's always a thrill when you find the exact thing you've been looking for. And I sure did when we were at the One of a Kind market. So why don't you come with us, guys, me and Holly and Ava, as we go check out the mall. Out antiquing today with Holly and Ava. Look at this. These always catch my eye. They're vintage floral display things. So, you know, back you'd order flowers and a florist would put flowers in this thing or a plant and send it to you. In this house of peace and rest, we welcome you, our lovely guest. Isn't that sweet? If I didn't have so many signs and pictures, I'd buy that. Actually, to be truthful, I would never buy that. It doesn't go with my decor. Yeah, see that chicken? That's my style. See that pink and that green in there? I would put that in my house because it would go. See this all that red? It doesn't jive with my look. But I love the sentiment.
Plastic.
Ava's found the mother lode of stuffed animals.
It takes somebody eternity to sort through all this stuff.
Exactly what we do not want, stuffed animals.
Why?
Why? Why indeed? There you go. Okay. Put your business cards in that.
I think it's for business cards.
Yeah.
It's a card, yeah, card and pen holder. So your pen goes here and the cards go here.
We need that for father.
Yeah. $35.
Not that much. I have this floss. My mother does. Wonder how much they want for it. Oh, I can't lift it. There's more vintage flower design pots. I don't know if they're just little girls or little Dutch girls. Here's one little Dutch girl. $8. Bet you any money somebody made that for a wedding. $28. If I were a little girl, I would buy this for my doll collection that I had. I want $4 for it. Oh, 4 strong winds. No? You got a new hairdo. You can go while you're singing. Yeah. Put your Joe on the harmonica. How much vintage clothing do you sell? Like, who comes and buys this stuff? Look at this hat, though. Like, don't you want to own that?
I like this one. Wouldn't you want to go and just go to church?
It fits me. I look like a
You do. Maybe it's a good thing you were born in this era.
Oh, no, this is has to yeah, I'm gonna buy that. Here. I made little boots. I have one key to a car. I do like this plate rack. I feel like I would put this up in my house. Look what I found, guys. Vintage pillowcases. Finally. Look at this one. This one's one pillowcase. It's only $6. Look at the lace on the bottom. This is hand embroidered. I'm going to be buying this one, that's for sure. And this one here, $22 for a pair. This is not handmade though. This is machine made, but it's still, look at it. It has the pink scallop along the bottom, so it would really make for cute as a button for a dolly dress. This one here is one pair. It's cross-stitched, and it's $24 for one pair. I feel like this is not handmade either, because I mean it has a vintage tag on it, embroidered pillowcase. So this is probably done by a machine. Look at this one. This one is definitely was a wedding gift or something. It's $12. It has Mr. and it must, I guess it's just one. It's just Mr. But I saw a Mrs. in here somewhere. So, you know, back in the day, you would have, you know, this is what you would have made to give for a shower or a wedding gift. And here's one more. It's cross-stitch. It's purple. $22 for one pair. Which one should I buy? I'm gonna buy one. Which one shall it be? To me, this is the prettiest. I think I'll buy this one because of the pink scalloped edge there. It'd be cute for a dolly dress. Alright guys, Holly took me on a great vintage shopping trip. We went to the one-of-a-kind antique mall. It's an old factory, which is 3 floors full of, you know, retro vintage stuff that you might want to, if you're a hunter of a certain thing, you'd probably find it there. I did get to pick up a couple things, so that's exciting. I just thought I'd share with you my finds. First of all, I got this great platter. $8 it was. What I like about this platter is the size. It's just a nice small platter. And I actually do serve my food on platters. Not, I usually serve my food on platters, I should point that out. Right now, a lot of times it's just a pot, honestly. But we are getting more and more organized every day. We got that cupboard back up. So I just feel, you know, like you just feel like, you know, your life is just coming back together after you've had an upheaval. Or even if, you know, you've never been so great at organizing. You know, one little space at a time. It makes all the difference in the world. So anyway, love it. And it's my colors. I love the pinks and the dusty rose. I'm all about that. I bought this. This is not something I normally would have bought. They wanted $6 for it. It looks like it's something somebody made somewhere. But, I mean, A, it's pink. It's tiny there. And it had 75% off. So this was probably less than $2. And it matches my color scheme. And even if I were to go make this myself, put some resin in the bottom and get this little vase and put this little flower in there, I couldn't do this for less than what I paid for this. So this was a great find, and it speaks to my decor. And this, great. Look at this. The Joy of Cooking. This book it's a reprint, but the original Joy of Cooking, it said Holly read it in here when we were looking at it. 1930 something, like 30. The original said this is a first printing, May 1975. Copyright 1931, guys. This is 1931 worth of recipes right here, The Joy of Cooking. So, of course, interesting enough, we opened it up, and the first thing we opened it up to was how to skin a squirrel. Have you ever had squirrel before? I have. I've had squirrel before. I have some uncles that were great hunters. My mother's father and her brothers were huge hunters, and they liked the game, and they were always eating it, making it, and hunting it. So she was kind of raised on it, and she said that she preferred squirrel over rabbit. She said squirrel was a sweeter taste. But anyway, I wanted to share with you some of this stuff in this book because it really is interesting. Do you think, we're going to come back to a time where we might have to go catch us some squirrels for dinner? I mean, there's a lot of talk of the collapse of our economy. Like, the gloom and doomers figure the economy is going to collapse. I don't see how it cannot collapse for a variety of reasons, not just for the obvious reasons. There are a variety of reasons that make living in this world very difficult. One of them is AI. AI is a huge problem, and the people working is a huge problem. And I don't want to be political, and I don't want to get into that. I don't want my channel to be about that. But, we do have to face the reality that maybe it might benefit us to know how to skin a squirrel. Maybe it might benefit us to know these things because, of course, I was looking at here. We got, here we are. Can we see this? I'm going to try and read upside down, but look at this. This is how we skin and clean a rabbit. And over here, it's a great diagram on how to skin and clean a squirrel. If we go on here further, we have venison, muskrat, woodchuck, beaver, beaver tail, armadillo. There was some others here. Opossum, porcupine, a raccoon. I'm going to tell you one thing. We got a ton of raccoon around here. Anyway, here, let me just read. There's some interesting things I learned about this because I did read it here. It said here, small game should be dressed as soon as possible. And says, see, preparing game. If you're a novice, which I most certainly would be if I ever had to do this, the most important thing to remember are the following. Never handle any wild meat without using gloves. I never heard of any of this stuff before, guys, so I had to look it up. I had to look it up on the computer because of the danger of tularemia infection. It's a bacteria infection that wild game carry, I guess. Always make sure the meat of wild animals is sufficiently cooked because any omnivorous, warm-blooded animal may be harboring trichinosis. I am not good with big words, guys, that I've never seen before, that's for sure. Be guided in your choice of recipe by the age of the animal using the moist heat process, page 149. For older animals, some of the most delicious game sauces use blood as a thickener. How's that sound to you? Because it doesn't sound good to me. To trap and preserve the blood, see 810, to incorporate it into a sauce. Well, guys, I don't know if I'm going to be doing this anytime soon, that's for sure. Hopefully I'm never going to do this. We have rabbits outside and our rabbits, and I had them, and I used to think, well, we better keep these just in case, we may need to eat them. And every time I had the thought of eating the rabbits, I would kind of, get queasy in my stomach, thinking, I don't think I could ever eat these rabbits. And then I realized one important thing. I'm not starving. There's no part of me that has to eat a rabbit or a squirrel or a woodchuck or a raccoon. I'm not starving. I'm not living in Russia where they're eating the wallpaper paste or in, during the Civil War where they were eating the rats. I'm not starving. When and if that day ever comes that I'm starving, I'm 100% positive I will not hesitate to eat a rabbit because I will have a different look on things. I will have a different view of the rabbit. People go a little when they're starving. This trichinosis is like a worm thing from eating raw wild game meat. That a bacteria, a parasite. So most of us don't have to worry about things like this because all our food is in processing plants, and I know farmers and people that work in that. The health regulations are so strict. I know people that have chickens, like no, you're not actually allowed to go into the barns. Like people, outsiders are not allowed to enter these barns where the milk is done and all that. And there's all these precautions that are taken now that, back in the day, people didn't have these precautions. I'm grateful for the precautions. I'm not against them, I suppose. But one day, what, we might have to think about these things for ourselves. I'm hoping that day never happens, but I'm glad that I have a book. And I'm going to really enjoy this book. Maybe I'm going to do some of the recipes out of it. I'm definitely not going to attempt to skin a squirrel anytime soon. But if I did, there's step-by-step instructions on how to do that. My uncle, he's long deceased. He would have done that in his sleep. He would have known how to do that, like without blinking an eyeball. But us, we are spoiled, we are pampered, and we are processed. Or just call us the processed nation. But I'm about getting back to basics, but I'm not about going so far back to basics, doing stuff that is not really necessary. But when the time comes if the time comes, I actually want to know how to do these things. Like I want to know how to do the things that would, for my own survival and the survival of my family. I think it's very important knowledge, guys. I think it's really important knowledge. If you don't know, you should maybe surround yourself with books, and go back to the old books. The old books, they're the ones that were doing it, right? They're the ones that were doing it. We weren't doing it. My uncle was doing it, long deceased, may he rest in peace. Both of my uncles and my grandfather, rest in peace. But different lifestyle, different times, and they thought nothing of making sauces from blood. Yeah. I know there's a blood pudding. It's a legit blood pudding made of blood. It's just not something our sensitive, processed stomachs can think about or comprehend. It's all in the mind, really. My father used to have a theory. He used to say, like he would go anywhere and eat anything. Like if he was in some, tribe in Africa and they were eating, monkey brains, he would eat that. And his theory was, well, they're eating it. Because if they're eating it, why can't I eat it? So he had that attitude. I don't have that attitude, and certainly my grandchildren are very far from that attitude. I can tell you that. They there's a lot of things they won't touch with a 10-foot pole that are just common everyday foods. Because we're a little bit spoiled. And one day we might not be. But okay, yeah, so that's my book. But also at the market, I found something else. Let's have a look at this. I found some vintage tablecloths, and I'd been on the lookout for them. Of course, I wanted to find them at the thrift store for like $2, but no, I had to go to an antique mall to find some. I found this one's really cheap though. This one was only $6. So that wasn't a bad find. And then I found, this is the one I decided on. This was $22 for 2 pillowcases because it's vintage. These still have the tag on it. They've never been used. And this is machine made. It's not handmade. I debated about whether to go with a handmade or a machine made. And then at the end of the day, I thought, oh, the kids don't care. And this was the prettiest one. So this is the one I bought. This one I like the best. So I thought we'd open it up and have a look at these pillowcases. There we go. There we go, the pillowcases. I'm going to take off the price tag, and I'm going to take off that. Now, these were from our pillowcase kit, so let's see how big they are. Okay, so there we are. Our pillowcase kit is a little bit bigger than that. I've already done all the bodies, so all I need to do now is make the dresses. So I only need these little pieces here. We got a front bot. Look at them, getting them all mangled. I've got a front bodice. This is the cap. This is the cap for the bonnet. I definitely have enough room. I have enough. So I can take my fabric scissors and just cut the exact. Oh, I'm cutting both at the same time. There we go. So, and then let's open up this other. This one was definitely, this is hand done. This was definitely made by somebody, but look at this pretty. Not only did they put this design in here too, but they did this. They scalloped, they crocheted into the pillowcase. I'm telling you, so pretty. Hours of work. This one's not so white, but that's okay. Cream color. So, measure again. So, here we are. Here we are. So I have 3 more pillowcases for the dolls. So I have my mother's 3 pillowcases that she did her handiwork on. And now I've added 3 and I'm only making 7 more dolls. So I have that, I don't think I have it down here, it's upstairs. I have that one piece that is it's a runner that I was going to turn into an apron. I may do that. I'll probably save that one to the end because if I find another pillowcase, I don't want to wreck the runner. It's a pretty runner and I don't want to wreck it. Boy, guys, those chickens are making an awful lot of noise today. And if I find another pillowcase before I get to that, then I will cut that up. So we're moving ahead on our dollies. We have all the dollies are done. They're finished. All my dollies. So now we're working on their dresses. I really want to get that project done and out of the way and move it on to my next project because I have another project for dollies for the girls that I started last summer that I was planning on giving them for Christmas last year. And by the time September or October came, I knew I didn't have enough time to finish that and I would be too pressed to try and finish it. But this year, as soon as I'm done this, that's our next project I'm going to get at it. And maybe next week I'll show you what that project is. Maybe not. I'm not starting working on anything until this project is done. One project at a time, guys. Little by little, one project at a time. So I guess that's it for our Sunday vlog. It's been a very hectic week this week. I had a lot going on. We had a lot going on. Our dog is sick, has gone to the vet. We're going to have to amputate his paw. So that was a decision that had to be made, what to do about that. Wasn't a pleasant one, you know. That's what do we call that? The crosses of the day, the trials of the day. And we just take them as they come and say a little prayer and make a little sacrifice and say, well, God's will be done and in all things. So that's what we do here. And hopefully you're having a good week and hopefully things are going well for you. And if they're not going well for you, remember that, you know, when you have a thing like your dog's paw needing to be amputated, that things don't stay dark forever. Things, you know, even the darkest night has a dawn. Even the darkest night has a dawn. So every time you're having a problem or a crisis, there's a silver lining in there somewhere, and sometimes we don't see it. You know, well, of course, most of the time we don't see it. We don't know what it is. So we just have to wait, and eventually we're shown what it is if we're patient, if we're calm, if if we wait it out. Sometimes just go to bed. Say, if you're having a bad time or you're sad, just say, well, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. This night is too dark. I will get up and it will be dawn and it will be better. That's what I do anyway. I go to bed and I say, well, it's dark today. I'm getting up tomorrow and it'll be a new dawn, a new day, and it'll be better. Life is a roller coaster, guys. It's up and it's down and it's up and it's down. And when it's down, you just got to wait for it to come back up again. You got to have that patience, that resilience, and that strength. And the understanding to know it gets better. It's not always down. And when you're up, it doesn't stay up. And don't expect it to stay up. That's the problem. We have too high expectations. We don't expect things to go wrong. So when they do go wrong, we go down like a ship. Don't go down like a ship. Remember, when it's down, it's going to come back up. When you're up, it's going to go down. You got to ride the waves. You got to ride out life. That's what you got to do. If you keep yourself busy, you don't notice it so much. You just say, well, I got to work on this. And you just keep working. Keep plugging away, guys. So that's it for Sunday with Mandy. I hope you had a good day. I hope you enjoyed my antique hunting. I do love antique hunting. I do love finding things, and I try to, not buy so much, because how much stuff can you have, guys? Really, how much stuff? And I got enough stuff, so I don't need to add to more stuff. But then every once in a while, you just see things that you can't live without, like the joy of cooking. These pillowcases, $22 those pillowcases cost me, but that means each of those $2 are going to be $11. Not so bad when you consider I'm giving out 7 gifts, and if you spread the cost out of the 7, it's very minimal. It's very minimal. $30 I've spent now for 2 of the dolls, 3 of the dolls, $30, so $10 a doll. But 3 of them are completely free. So, and the other one, well, it's yet to be determined. All right, guys. Happy Sunday. God bless. We'll see you next time on Sundays with Mandy.